Your favorite nonprofit is becoming a monopoly. OpenAI is now worth $500 billion. They just signed deals with Nvidia, Oracle and AMD. They're consuming more energy than a small country, and they replaced your startup before you even started. And they're gonna do it with the ChatGPT ecosystem. See, OpenAI plans to build ChatGPT into the everything app, making sure that us, the users, never leave the comforts of the chat. During their recent DevDay, they announced Apps SDK. This allows ChatGPT to use any app or website on the internet. So they're not just trying to become the next browser. They want ChatGPT to be the next operating system. Oh, and they also released AgentKit, which is a brand new way of building AI agents. It's basically their own version of NA10. Yeah, OpenAI is showing total domination. ChatGPT recently reached 800 million weekly active users. Also, their recent 500 billion valuation puts them ahead of SpaceX, making OpenAI the most valuable startup in the world. And now they want to take over the entire internet. This is the map of all of the companies that OpenAI is working with. It feels like every month they're signing a new multi-$100 billion deal. And this is what's making them unstoppable. So OpenAI has a ruthless strategy that not enough people are talking about. And this is how they replace startups and how they choose which startups to replace. They make their AI models available through their OpenAI API, and then they watch carefully what others build, what features, what products, what services you create powered by their own AI models. And then, and this is the ruthless part, they attack and replace the startups with the most revenue growth. The startups that reach product market fit and have the fastest growth, that's where OpenAI comes in, and they build their own version of the same product or service. And the man behind the strategy is, of course, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI. Now, love him or hate him, Sam Altman is one of the greatest entrepreneurs of this generation. Nobody can dispute that. He's the CEO of a $500 billion company. He's front-running an entire technological revolution, probably the biggest technology shift in the history of humanity. And he's doing all of that while being just 40 years old. And it's not like there is no competition. He's competing with some of the greatest entrepreneurs of all time. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Page. These are some of the most successful and most powerful people in the world, yet Sam still seems to be winning. So here's the plan. I'll show you how people like me and you can actually benefit from this OpenAI takeover thanks to the Apps SDK. We'll also look at how to build AI agents with the new AgentKit, because this is a completely new era, as well as how it compares to NA10, Make.com, and Zapier. And this is my favorite part, we'll break down how OpenAI was able to ship a multi-year project, a project that would take other companies 5+ years in just 6 weeks, thanks to their new Codex. So first, here is Sam introducing the Apps SDK.
Today we're launching the Apps SDK. With the Apps SDK, you get the full stack. You can connect your data, trigger actions, render a fully interactive UI, and more. When you build with the Apps SDK, your apps can reach hundreds of millions of ChatGPT users.
Basically, ChatGPT is becoming an app store. The Apps SDK clearly shows us how OpenAI plans to take over the internet. Their goal is for the average person, the typical user, to do everything from ChatGPT. So you won't go to booking.com to book your hotel, you'll do it by asking ChatGPT. And that way you never leave the website. Now this can either make or break your business, depending on what strategy you take.
When someone's using ChatGPT, you'll be able to find an app by asking for it by name. For example, you could sketch out a product flow for ChatGPT and then say Figma. Turn the sketch into a workable diagram. We're also making apps discoverable right in the conversation. When a user asks for something, we can surface a relevant app as a recommendation.
Now, let's look at the bright side, because maybe the move isn't to fight OpenAI. Maybe the move is to join them and benefit from their rise. So all of us that have a product or a website, we can take the product and using the Apps SDK, build a ChatGPT native app. This will allow you to tap the 800+ million weekly active users who can now discover your business right from ChatGPT. But Apps SDK is just the beginning, because OpenAI also released AgentKit.
AgentKit is a complete set of building blocks available in the OpenAI platform designed to help you take agents from prototype to production. It is everything you need to build, deploy, and optimize agentic workflows.
Here is the craziest part. AgentKit was built in 6 weeks. That's right, this entire platform that allows you to build and deploy AI agents was developed in just 6 weeks. This is the power of AI. And as Signal says here, this is truly ridiculous. If you're a startup, you might think, okay, I'm not gonna play the same game, or I'm gonna work 996, 12/7. But the truth is, you will never outship AI. If you refuse to use AI tools like Codex, you will simply lose. That is the cold, hard truth. And OpenAI just walked the walk. They just demonstrated how fast you can move thanks to AI agents like Codex, which by the way also got major updates which we'll cover in a bit. Now, that fact that they shipped it in just 6 weeks becomes that much crazier when you realize that AgentKit involves another tool named ChatKit.
The second thing is ChatKit. We're making it easy to bring great chat experiences right into your own apps. You get a simple, embeddable chat interface that you can make your own. You can bring your own brand, your own workflows, whatever makes your own product unique. And you can see in the video here how chat can work across each agent node and call on tools to form the best response.
So the way to understand ChatKit is that you can now have ChatGPT in your site. So if you don't want to take the strategy of building an app with Apps SDK and putting that into ChatGPT, you can still benefit from ChatGPT by embedding it into your site. So ChatKit gives you a ready-made chat interface you can customize and add into your website or your app. So just look at some of these examples on the right. These are called widgets, and you can have these directly in the chat interface. So these can be outputted and interacted by ChatGPT. So it's not just pure text. And it's very clear that OpenAI is trying to move away from just being text, right? Like large language models, next token prediction. These are paradigms that are inherently limiting. Text is great, it's better than nothing, but it's the biggest issue with all of this chat user interface, right? Just having text. We need another modality, whether it's images, audio, voice, video, or these custom UI elements, also known as widgets. So let's look at how OpenAI was able to do all of this in just 6 weeks, and that is thanks to Codex.
Earlier this year, we launched a research preview of Codex. It works everywhere you code now. Your ChatGPT account connects everything so you can move your work seamlessly between your tools. We've released a ton of new features for Codex, and it now runs on the new GPT-5 Codex model, a version of GPT-5 purposely trained for Codex and agentic coding. This model is better at tasks like code refactoring and code review, and it can dynamically adjust its thinking time for the complexity of the task. A new Codex SDK, so that you can extend and automate Codex in your team's own workflows.
So I know a lot of softwares are claiming to be the Claude code killer, but Codex is the only one that actually has any validity to this statement. So if you don't know, Codex is OpenAI's coding agent, and it got upgraded yet again. Now, I would say it was already the best because I use it more than Claude Code and I trust it way more than Claude Code at the moment. But now it got another major upgrade. And that's because OpenAI released Codex SDK. And this allows me and you to see inside the agent framework. So unlike Anthropic, which they're refusing to make Claude Code open source, OpenAI just made Codex completely open source. So we can look inside. We can see the prompting techniques, the agent orchestration, and what it takes to build a powerful coding agent like Codex. So basically now Codex can do everything. From pull request reviews to long-running refactors, literally multiple hours, to working on 20+ tasks asynchronously in the cloud. It really is the ultimate coding AI agent.
But first of all, if we go back to our app right here, let's see if we can actually control this camera now with this Xbox controller. There we go, it works. That's pretty awesome. What's funny is I didn't even specify to Codex which button should do what, but it figured that the joystick was probably a good idea. So that's actually perfect.
Now, we have to address something uncomfortable because during the live stream, OpenAI tried very hard to hide the most obvious takeaway. And that is, all of these improvements and advancements have a real cost to the people who do not adapt. The people who don't pay attention, right? Not everybody watches videos like this one. Not everybody is paying attention to the latest AI advancements. And the truth is that those people, their jobs will be replaced. You could see it throughout this presentation if you actually paid attention in multiple different roles. Camera operators, the light technicians, translators, radiologists, teachers, real estate agents, tour guides. I mean, they literally showed how they would replace all the tour guides in Versailles in Paris. All of those jobs will be done better with AI. Now, obviously, OpenAI will never say this, but anybody who spends 5 seconds thinking about it will realize that we only have 2 choices, either adapt or get replaced. Now, to make you even more uncomfortable, there's going to be a complete divide of how AI impacts you. People with high IQ will become superhuman. You'll be able to automate all the repetitive shit with AI agents, and you'll be able to build custom software 50 times faster than you could otherwise. However, people with less than average IQ will become likely addicted to AI-generated content. Obviously, not all of them, but in general, the masses will be deceived by AI videos, AI images, AI voices, and they'll fall into AI-powered propaganda. And the unfortunate and uncomfortable truth is that God, or the universe, whatever you believe, has decided your destiny a long time ago. Because you cannot really choose which of these categories you're in. So in a way, your destiny has already been decided. This brings up the topic of the slop machine, right? The release of Sora 2, which is like what, 2 weeks ago? It's crazy. AI is moving so fast. Feels like forever ago, but yeah, Sora 2 just released as well. And it took the realism of AI videos to the next level, right? Literally, some of them you can't even tell. And now, after the DevDay, Sora 2 is available in the API, right? So what that means is that people can build on top of this video model, which means we will see even more AI slop. Now, like it or not, this is probably what the future of entertainment is going to look like. It's going to be AI-generated videos that are highly stimulating to the brain. And you might think, okay, I'm just going to watch other entertainment, but you will not know. Now we can still tell, but in 6 months, nobody will be able to tell. Now, what's funny is that even Mr. Beast himself, who is the king of entertainment, the king of content, of attention-grabbing slop, is worried about AI, right? So Mr. Beast calls out AI as threat to YouTubers. Livelihood says, scary times. So the most successful creator of manual slop is now worried about AI slop. So that's kind of funny, but honestly, this is not really an issue for those who create content that isn't slop, right? So the way I was able to summarize this into a single sentence is, if you are in entertainment, pivot to education. If you are creating a content that's not valuable, doesn't bring any unique insight, any unique ideas, novel analysis, nothing inherent of value, you're just doing the same shit that everybody else is doing, don't be surprised when AI replaces you as well. And this is a very bullish message to those who are making educational, high-value content that is much harder to replicate, right? Content in flesh. When you show up in flesh, you know it's something of value. Now back to the positive side, because we spend a bit too much on the doomer side. But the fact is that agents are going to be available for everyone. Even if you aren't a programmer, even if you have zero skills, the release of AgentKit is fundamentally revolutionary. It will allow millions of new people to build AI agents, right? Even though tools like n8n or make.com have existed for a while, OpenAI backing something, right? OpenAI creating their own agent builder will expose it to millions, if not tens of millions, of potential new AI agent builders. Now, I have to be fair. The agent kit is similar to n8n or make.com, right? It's not like they invented the light bulb. It's not a radical new technology, but it is a much cleaner and simpler design. It is easier to use. It's more user-friendly, but it also does include some new features and some new tools that other platforms don't have. And so in a second, I'll show you how you can start using AgentKit yourself. But first, hear it from Sam on what it actually is.
This is a canvas to build agents. It's a fast visual way to design the logic steps, test the flows, and ship ideas. It's built on top of the responses API that hundreds of thousands of developers already use.
All right, so now let's look at how to actually use AgentKit. First, we need to go to Google while it still exists and type in platform OpenAI and click on the first link. Then you need to log in with your ChatGPT account. So in the top right, click on your account and use the same one as used in ChatGPT. Takes 20 seconds. Then click on dashboard, which will bring you here, but then on the left you can see Agent Builder. And this is where AgentKit is located. So click on Agent Builder, and you can either create a workflow from scratch, or you can use one of these 6 templates. They're probably going to add more, let's be honest. So they have data enrichment, planning helper, customer service, structured data QA, document comparison, and internal knowledge assistant. Honestly, probably data enrichment sounds the most interesting. So let's explore this template. And there it is. Here is the dashboard. You can see this one is very simple. We have the start node. Then we have a web research agent and the summarize and display agent. Simple workflow to research a set of companies using web search and provide summary analysis. Analyze NVIDIA. Find a company using web search. Okay, so this is very simple agent. Preview this. And this is nice. So you can see how it works by testing it right away with like a chat style interface. Analyze OpenAI DevDay. Let's use it on their own product. So there we go. Start web research agent is going, and then you're gonna summarize and display. This you can obviously do inside of ChatGPT itself, but I think this is just an introduction to how the agent kit could be used. The first template is probably the simplest one. The beauty is that you can see like the logs, and all of this lives within OpenAI's ecosystem. So debugging this and building on top of this will be very, very nice, very clean. All right, so here we have the response, view details. I mean, this is nothing crazy, right? So let's look at some other. We lost the templates. Oh no. Okay, so this is crazy. If you use any of them, you lose them. Okay, we still have the templates here. Yeah, keep in mind that as soon as you click on templates, you seem to lose them. That's kind of crazy. Let's see which of these is more. Okay, let's look at document comparison. Okay, this one is more advanced. So by the way, on the left, we have the different nodes, right? So the core is agent, then we have end node and node. So this is a sticky node. This is built with React Flow, by the way. So if you want to build an app like this yourself, React Flow is a way to do that. Pretty easy. So OpenAI, again, they shipped this in 6 weeks, thanks to Codex. It's pretty impressive. I think each workflow comes with a pre-created start node. Start define the workflow inputs. Input variable, input as text string. Very simple. This is clearly targeted for non-developers. So then we have the agent. This is probably going to be the main node. Name agent, you can rename it. Instructions, the system prompt. Include chat history, so you can easily toggle this if the chat history shouldn't be included. And then model, you can probably choose all of them, right? Nano, GPT-5 Pro, that's another thing that released in DevDay. GPT-5 Pro is now in the API. 4.1, I would recommend 4.1 actually. A lot of people want to use GPT-5 because it's newer. But for AI agents, GPT 4.1 is much more reliable. Then tools, you can add a bunch of tools. ChatKit, MCP server, file search, web search, code interpreter, or a custom function. Output format, text or JSON. Wow, so you don't even have to instruct it to output structure. You can just select it here. And then widget, which is ChatKit. This is actually pretty good. You can do like some major prompt engineering here. You can add multiple different prompts. User assistant. Oh, wow, so you can construct the conversation history already. So this is like the system prompt. Look at this. We have a system prompt, then we have the first user prompt, then we can do assistant message response, and then user again. So you can literally, like, this is one of the advanced prompt engineering principles. You can pre-fill the conversation, right? So it looks like it already starts. Nice. This is nice. And then sticky notes are just for explaining your workflow. And then we have tools like file search. So this is the vector DB. Okay, so you need to create it inside of the vector storage in OpenAI. So they're going to use their embedding tool to create a high-dimensional vector database or vector store for this, you know, probably not a database of a single file, but yeah. And then you can use those inside of your workflow. You can choose the k nearest neighbors, so like 10, and query on how to queue it. Guardrails. This is, I think, something that is the differentiator between AgentKit and, you know, n8nmake.com. Guardrails. Input as text, personally, okay, so we can clean personally identifiable information, moderation, like harmful content or, you know, 18 plus content, jailbreaking. So if you're building this as a backend, you know the meme like lovable frontend, n8n backend, you can do like AgentKit backend. You can literally build, and this is the crazy part, you can turn this into code, right? So using Agents SDK, you can copy paste this into your Python backend and build on top of it. And by the way, this might be a whole new video. Like if you want me to make a video on how to build an AI agent with AgentKit and then deploy it into your Python backend so you can build on top of it and build a whole startup with this, comment below, because that's fascinating. The fact that you can just click on code and instantly copy it and build your own application around it, powered by AgentKit. See, OpenAI destroyed hundreds of startups with this DevDay, but they just made thousands of new startups possible that before were either not possible or at least like 50 times, 100 times harder. You cannot like fully criticize OpenAI, but you cannot fully love them either. MCP. So this is interesting. People talking about like how Anthropic invented MCPs, but OpenAI is actually the one that's capitalizing on them. So we have MCP nodes, so you can integrate MCP servers. Now, AgentKit might not have as many integrations as other agent builders, but they do have the MCP node. And that's really all you need. Because there is an MCP that lets you connect to over 500 different apps. And that MCP is called Roop. So if you're in AgentKit and you activate the MCP node and you click on add, here you can add any MCP server. And if you add Roop, you can connect over 500 different apps through a single MCP connector. So whether that is Gmail, Slack, Perplexity, YouTube, GitHub, or Supabase, Roop has it all. And the best part is, you can just tell it what apps you want to connect together. Like in this example, where you ask it to add a marketing deck from Google Drive into your Slack, and it calls the tool and does that. Or maybe you need Roop to write a follow-up email. Well, it can use the gmail.createEmailDraft tool and do exactly that. So instead of having to connect all of these MCPs one by one, all you have to do is connect Roop, and it gives you all of these apps with it. And thanks to the free plan, you can start using Roop today completely for free. So if you want to connect over 500 different apps through a single MCP, go to roop.app and give it a shot. Or just click the link below the video. Thanks to Roop for sponsoring today's upload. If else, okay, so we have basic programming logic, while loop, and then some data transform or set state. So these are already in NA10, obviously. So let's look at this one. Start triage request. Let's see what's this. So this is an AI agent. Classify the user's request based on whether two documents have been provided recently in the conversation. Propose reconciliation. So these are all agents. This is interesting. This is very interesting, like I'm looking at this from the design choice, right? In NA10, you have an AI agent. It's like a big node, a big block, right? Here, like the if-else is much bigger than the agent. They make the agent like a small thing here. And then this is like 3 agents here. It's no big deal. Just customize each agent for each scenario. This is a very interesting design choice, how OpenAI thinks differently about the significance of an agent in a workflow compared to NA10. Yeah, this looks much more like streamlined, simpler. Doesn't mean it's better. NA10 is obviously more advanced. NA10 has way more integrations. But again, OpenAI shipped this in 6 weeks. And this, a lot of beginners will use this, right? Because the UI is more clean. OpenAI designers are amazing. I'm jealous of their UI UX. Yeah, if I had the budget, I would probably poach some of these designers, to be honest. But yeah, nothing crazy here. It goes to an AI agent, then it goes to user approval. If it's a rejection agent, they're just spamming AI agents. Like, you could probably put some loop in here, right? But whoever designed this template is just not afraid to spam agent everywhere. And the output format is a test widget. Look at this. Preview code, detach, edit. So this is ChatKit, by the way. So if you're confused by all the releases, you're not the only one. But ChatKit basically lets you build these widgets, right? Which is like UI elements. Basically, this is like their own version of ChatCN. Honestly, I might be talking complete shit now, so feel free to correct me in the comments. But yeah, this feels like their own kind of UI framework. Their own way of letting you build with their own UI design system, basically. So you have the playground, you have the widget builder, and the ChatKit world. That's like a demo. So you can do a new widget, you can see a gallery of pre-built widgets, right? So like a calendar. Yeah, so basically this is like OpenAI designed components that they're kind of letting you borrow, but not fully because you have to stay in their ecosystem, right? Button, okay? So you can build websites that look polished with this. Date picker, other websites, I don't think they let you take it fully. Let's see if this is the case or not. Did OpenAI fully open source ChatKit and all the UI elements inside? I highly doubt it. But this is nice. Like, we have a bunch of icons, like 50 or whatever. Obviously not as much as some other open source libraries. The point is that you can easily design these UI widgets or UI elements with, very simple HTML style code. And you can use these inside of your AgentKit apps, right? This is ChatKit. Let's see. No, OpenAI did not fully open source ChatKit. Here's what's available. OpenAI released ChatKit JavaScript components under the Apache 2.0 license. This includes ChatKit React components. Okay, this might be a whole nother video, like how to build websites in the style of ChatKit, with these components. Chart, icon, image, markdown, label, caption, title. And obviously you can do a new widget and you can just describe it using plain English and GPT will build it for you. Agents MD. Okay, so here's the system prompt. Nice, they revealed the system prompt. You're an expert widget designer and developer. Outputs must be small, compact widgets. Methodology. Complexity budget. What are widgets? Widget UI. Widget is a strict, simplified version of JSX that only permits specific components and props. Wow. They open sourced the whole prompt. And this is a long prompt. Guys, I'm still scrolling. This is a very long prompt. Oh my god. Guys, we need to study this. Wait, how long is this? 8,000 words. 55,000 characters. Guys, if your prompts are not this long, maybe you are not serious. Maybe you don't really care about your AI agents. This is a complete prompt engineering masterclass here from OpenAI. They just gave away how to prompt AI agents. Wow, that's amazing. That's actually amazing that they open source the Agents MD. I clicked that completely by accident. But hey, I bet most people have skipped that and missed that. But this is what you get by watching the David Ondrej channel. If you aren't subscribed yet, go below the video and click subscribe. It takes 2 seconds and the benefits are tremendous. It's a no-brainer deal. It's a grand slam offer, as Hormozy would say. But yeah, this is the Agents widget builder, aka also known as ChatKit. It's not fully open source, but they did give us the components, some sample applications, documents, and guide. What's not open source? The core ChatKit infrastructure remains proprietary, backend services, agent builder. Okay, it's hybrid. So the UI components are open source and some of these icons. So that's nice. Yeah, anyways, as I said, this is a whole new video minimum. This is like probably multiple videos. So if you want a full dedicated video on using AgentKit, but more importantly, the code, right? How to deploy this into your own application. And there's also evals. We haven't even touched on evals. Yeah, there is a lot. OpenAI really is cooking, and wow, guys, we live in the future. We live in the future, and OpenAI is about to monopolize the entire internet if nobody stops them. Well, let me know which videos you want me to make, whether AgentKit and how to build a whole application with this, or whether ChatKit and going more into these components, UI, how to build your own widget. There is so much content. It's crazy. So let me know which one I should make, or if I should make all of them. With that being said, if you watch until the end, thank you. Thank you for watching, and I wish you a wonderful, productive week. See ya.